I mean, the report, it's a brilliant report. It shows not only that President Biden's climate goals for the power sector are achievable, but it provides one of the very first detailed roadmaps of how we get there. And the punchline is incredibly important. We don't need any magic bullets. We don't need new technologies. We have the tools. And the report lays out those tools, and perhaps the most important tool is enacting strong federal power plant standards by early next year.
One of the really important things that has to happen if we want to cut carbon pollution economy-wide is to clean up the electricity sector. Why? Because, as Senator Smith and Manish have both pointed out, clean electricity is the first linchpin. It's super important. When we have clean electricity, 100% clean electricity, we can use it to power our homes, our cars, even parts of heavy industry with that clean power, rather than using things like oil or fossil gas or coal, right? Fossil fuels. And so that is how we decarbonize about 3/4 of our current carbon pollution with clean electricity plus electrification.
And then, of course, the carbon benefits, right? We, with IRA, with EJA, we're at 40 to 41% below 2005 levels by 2030. But with many significant steps as outlined in this report, there is still a credible path to get to 50 to 52%. And fundamental, the biggest step between where we are and where we need to be is precisely cleaning up the power sector.
And so President Biden said that he wants to get the country to 100% clean power by 2035. This is a presidential pledge. And what is on the pathway to that? It's 80% clean power by 2030. So the Inflation Reduction Act gets us a lot of the way to that 80% clean power by 2030, but it doesn't get us all the way. So how do we make sure we're on track, not just for our carbon pollution reductions, but also for this clean electricity sector by 2030 and 2035? Well, what we have to do is we need EPA to act more quickly and more ambitiously when it comes to cleaning up the power sector. That's both for carbon emissions requirements under the Clean Air Act, and Liz is going to get into this, as well as for traditional public health rules, things like mercury, for example, that we know we need to do to protect Americans' health and that happen to have a side effect in terms of other kinds of pollution like carbon.
So the good news is that our new modeling shows that we can very nearly reach that 2030 power sector target with the combination of the IRA and strong carbon pollution standards for both new and existing fired power plants. And so we've got this lovely slide of one of the graphics in the report. These results that we're showing here are not a foregone conclusion. They will only be achieved if EPA and President Biden act quickly and with pretty significant ambition to finalize truly strong carbon standards for both new and existing power plants.
And what we are seeing is that clean energy, the clean energy revolution, is a crucial part of a profound economic transformation story. If we were to just take a step back and think a little bit about what are some of the benefits of acting on climate, of advancing the clean energy revolution, we're starting to see those benefits become more visible and more compelling. Look at the jobs that we're talking about, 3.2 million jobs in the clean energy, clean transportation space already. UMass Amherst, many of you know, undertook a study that showed that the Inflation Reduction Act would add nearly 900,000 jobs per year for the next 10 years.
Minnesota was one of 4 states in the country that has the triumvirate. It has a Democratic governor, House, and state Senate. And they have very rapidly moved forward a piece of legislation which puts into place a clean energy standard in Minnesota with high goals. They have passed it through the House. They are anticipating moving it through the Senate in the coming days, and the governor stands ready not only to sign this law, but also to make sure that it is implemented exceptionally well. And this is exactly the kind of local leadership that we need all around the country in order to hit our goals, as your report shows. And I also just want to note that the legislators that just recently won this election and the governor all campaigned on this. This is not something they just pulled out of their hat. after they won the election, they said, if you elect us, this is what we will do. And I think that that is a powerful reminder of the popularity of advancing clean energy, because people get in Minnesota, clean energy is rural energy. Clean energy is about opportunity and again about lowering costs. So it's very exciting. I'm very proud of them.
There's absolutely a role for Congress to move forward. I think most importantly right now, we're going to need to see them continue to fund agencies, continue to not screw up or not get in the way of what needs to happen inside the administration right now, which is robust, equitable, efficient implementation. And so I'll take that one on Congress, which is, critically important role. It's going to need to play more of a role in the future. Right now, let's focus on using the tools we've got. Most importantly, President Biden moving forward with robust executive action in these next 2 years, starting with, but not limited to, robust carbon pollution standards for new and existing power plants to drive forward this transition to 100% clean electricity.
Thank you very much. And everyone, listen closely to how NRDC and Evergreen are talking about how we need to hold all of us accountable to make sure that the promise of the Inflation Reduction Act and the power that we have using executive action and state action can be realized. That's about accountability, and it's about having high standards, and it's exactly how we should be thinking about this problem.